After my mom passed, I wound up having bouts of depression. Didn't want to get up and go to work. And even back after I'd lost my sister, I tell you, I wish I knew then what I know now, that when the storm is raging all around you, that is when God is right in the middle. Hi, I'm Cindy Beam. I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and wound up in central Oklahoma. It was during the period when the travel industry was taking a huge hit after 9/11, and my company was laying people off left and right. I got a call from my sister on the weekend. Said, "Mom's not doing well. She's in the hospital. You need to pack a bag and come." She was in the hospital for dehydration and dizziness and not quite understanding where she was. But the real problem is she had had a bladder infection for a long time and left it untreated. She needed surgery almost immediately. They took her in for a blockage. Within the next week, she never fully came out of the anesthesia. But back to real life and back to finding another job. 6.5 years after starting there, right at the end of the month, I just had enough. I had been diagnosed with sleep apnea. That contributed to my getting to the point of realizing I'm just really not liking this job. I don't want to go. I don't want to go in. As that built up and hating the job more and more, and they made some policy changes around the office, new things we were required to do, different things that on top of what we were already trying to muddle through, I just snapped. I had called my doctor, told her what was going on. She gave me some paperwork that would need to be filled out. We went to the doctor. We're signing this for a month. You are not going to back to work for a month. It was a Monday. I had had a pretty busy weekend. Even without working, it was kind of funny. One of the biggest storms in history. I've got the radar pulled up and I see the big red blob heading our general direction. The moment I had my tornado shelter is something I had never experienced before. Such a pressing of God's presence. All day long I had already had the song, "I Will Praise You in the Storm," running through my head. And at that moment, the chorus came up. And I just kept repeating the chorus to myself over and over. And it was so poignant that I will praise you in the storm and I will lift my hands, for you are who you are no matter where I am. And in that moment, I knew without doubt that God knows where I am. Whatever's going on outside of this shelter, God knows where I am. When I come out of this, whether I have to replace the fence or replace the house, God knows where I am. Whether I live or die today, God knows where I am. And I had this sense of peace just totally wash over me, like I have never felt before in my entire life. I knew God was right there with me. It didn't matter when I opened that door what I came out to. In fact, once I saw my house in rubble, one of my first thoughts was, it's just stuff. The physical storm that I survived to some of the emotional storms that I've been through. I wish I had paid more attention to what God was trying to do in my life. He knows what we need long before we get to the point that we need it. We just don't always see the big picture.